Hi there folks, I'm here with James and we're going to be talking Lorescape because you guys did such an awesome job with this last year. We sort of came over and were blown away by what you guys were doing. Yep. And then you've been going through Kickstarter, which has done it really well and all that kind of thing. Yep. For anyone who doesn't know what Lorescape is, because obviously you're seeing all these wonderful tiles and things like that, can you sort of tell us a little bit about what it is and sort of how people can use it in their games?
Yeah, so Lorescape is a modular Hex-Terrain system for RPG games, Battletech, war games, and basically any kind of game that you need to build a custom terrain or a map for. And the unique feature of it is that you can take your biome sets, as we're displaying here, you can rebuild them 100 different ways every time you play a session. So instead of having to have a printed paper map that is fixed in place and you always play the same thing, you just make what you want, whatever you can imagine, whatever's suitable for the game. And also, you can use the same tiles for multiple games. So the same tiles that you use for Battletech can be used for a D&D session, can be used for any kind of RPG or wargaming thing. So it's really going to save people a lot of shelves and shelves and shelves of specific dedicated terrain. And we all know a gamer who has a whole rack of, oh, I got that for that game in '96, and they've never touched it since because it only works for that one thing. So we want to make a generic system that can really be used for a really wide variety of the games that you already have.
One of the things that I was always blown away with when I saw the stuff that you guys were doing is obviously you had the kind of ability to create lovely flat landscapes and that kind of thing, but then you also get to do the sort of like raised areas and that kind of stuff, and the cave systems and all that kind of thing underneath as well. So it's a really interesting set of technology that you guys are using to kind of like make that possible for people to create dynamic tabletops.
The three-dimensionality is extremely important because flat maps are boring, and especially when you're doing RPG type adventures and particularly Battletech, things like that, having raised terrain really matters to the gameplay. It's not just a visual, it's a practical gameplay feature. You can see elevation and whether that has combat effects or bonuses or anything like that, and also it just looks great. And we're introducing this new range of towers and other accessories that even elevate the terrain even higher. It's a really key feature.
Yeah. And through the Kickstarter that you guys did, you started to add sort of like, as we like to call them, like 2.5D elements and things as well. So there's things that kind of like raise things up and add interesting elements to the tiles for if you're doing an adventure and that kind of thing and you want to mark out your hex maps and stuff.
Yeah, so we're adding a lot of 3D printed features. One of the wonderful things about that technology is it's reached the point where most people can have a 3D printer if they want one, or they have a friend or even a local supplier. So we provide 3D designs. These are all open source, these are all free. So we provide them printed at a price, but we host all of these designs on our website, and therefore people who are in the hobby and have 3D printers can just print out the whole range of accessories themselves. We're trying to make the whole system as open and accessible as possible, so you can have these rocks, these trees, these extra features, doorways, dungeons, the towers that raise sections of the map, 3D print them and add them to your maps, or not, it depends, it's just entirely optional.
So how did the Kickstarter go for you guys? I mean, I mentioned it was pretty damn good for you, but so how was it all for you guys?
Really surprising. So we were hoping to raise, this is sort of a little bit of a inside secret, but when our target was 25,000 euros, but we were hoping to raise 10 times that. That's kind of how the game works. We're just about to hit 500,000, we think. So and then we're going to close it. So we're incredibly blown away. It's the level of kind of support and stuff. I know everyone says this thanks to my mum and my parrot, but we've had this incredible level of support, way more than we expected. It's been fantastic, yeah.
And you guys are still doing late pledges, or will be doing late pledges soon?
So it's just closing. So we aim to hit 500,000 maximum because we don't want to oversell, so that we have trouble producing. And everyone who's been in Kickstarter is familiar with delayed campaigns and over promises. So we decided to limit it to 500. We're currently at just over 580. So the late pledging will close when we hit 500, which could be next week.
Brilliant. And so what are the plans for the future then? Because you must have more things percolating. So.
Yeah, so we've got 15 biomes at the moment. We've got a whole display of all the different biome sets, and our plan is to just keep adding biomes that are popular. So we're going to see from the Kickstarter results what people choose and what areas are popular. We're running kind of reaching out to the community to see what they want next, and probably next year we're going to release a new campaign with a sort of 3 or 4, maybe 5, just a miniature campaign of extra biomes. We're also going to release native games, so we've got a beta game in development. It's not actually set up yet, but it will be later, where we're going to make native games for the system. So once you bought the tiles, you can then get sort of affordable games that just fit onto the tiles straight away, onto the ones you already have, so you don't have to go out and buy new ones. So the first one's going to be a Viking adventure game.
Immediately love that.
Yeah. So it's tentatively named Valhalla Quest, and it's basically a set of recently, it's an RPG combat game where a set of recently deceased Viking warriors have to prove themselves through a series of quests in order to enter Valhalla. And it's just a fun combat game, like sort of watered down D&D style combat rules and a few kind of unique elements of fun. It's sort of a light-hearted game, and we're going to release a series of games like that.
Excellent stuff. So there is more and more to come
Certainly is.
when it comes to Lorescape. Thank you very much for talking to us all about this. If you're a fan of role-playing games, or if you like your war games, obviously we talked about BattleTech there as well. Definitely worth checking out the stuff that these guys do. It is phenomenal. The quality's great. We've played around with it obviously on the channel and that kind of thing as well. There will be a battle report coming playing BattleTech. It will happen. It will happen. But yes, thank you very much for that again. Make sure to watch the live blog and the live stream over at OnTabletop. And we'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye for now.